my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a f***ing name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste it, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself.
Well, guys, first night in the new shop, and I didn't know what to do. I was trying to organize stuff, and I just didn't know what to put where. And I ended up building a rat rod, as you saw. I figured what better way to figure out how to organize my tools than to use them and figure out where I want everything exactly. So, still technically not finished with the shop. This is, again, day 27. I think I mentioned that somewhere earlier, maybe in an Instagram. And yeah, I've still got a ton of stuff to bring out here. I've put more shelves up today, but we'll do a full shop tour when we get there, but we're not quite there yet. See, I've already made my first mess. Got metal shavings everywhere. So this thing, let me get in here in the studio and shut the door so it's quiet. So I was going through boxes, found these rails. I've had them for a few years. I got them from someone, I think in England. I can't remember, it's been so long. And they were awesome. They were cut. They looked like Model A chassis rails. But it was bent. It was warped a little bit. The chassis was welded. It was a little wider than I'm used to working with. And I never got around to fixing it or doing anything with it. And I've toyed with the idea a few times. So I come in here in the shop, fully intending on working on this rat rod. You can see it's falling apart. I had a bunch of stuff laid out for that. And I put those rails, because they look so good, over here on the chassis thing, chassis rack. And I've been staring at them for 2 days while I'm out here working. And yeah, decided I was going to mess with it. So I'm like, well, I know all the holes are off from rail to rail. That's one of my processes when I build a chassis. I use the square tubing, like you can see there in the back. I weld the shape of the chassis, and then I drill all the holes through with the drill press so they're perfectly even from side to side, so that when you bolt your front suspension up, it's even. Everything is spaced properly. All your crossmember holes and stuff line up. And that chassis did not have that going on for it. So it was already welded together. It had a crossmember with a steering servo mount, as well as just a tube on the back to keep the whole thing together. And it was further off than I realized. I knew it had a little bit of wobble to it. But yeah, so I tried to drill some holes. I drilled 4 or 5 holes in it. Just could not get stuff lined up. And that's when I finally just cut all the cross members out. It's like, we're going to do this the right way. Ground everything down. The rails themselves were hand cut. So they were not perfectly matched from side to side. So you saw I spent quite a bit of time on the belt sander with them bolted together. I found all the holes I could that lined up. Made a couple new holes here and there and bolted the rails together. And yeah, just started shaping them so they all both evened out and were roughly the same shape. And then I went through, I didn't, this was really just on a whim. I don't have a plan. I don't know motor or anything, transmission for this yet. And so I just drilled a bunch of random holes in it in places where I think things might go, just loosely. Got one for the front suspension. We got our front crossbar. Somewhere roughly in the middle for transmission cross member maybe. And our suspension mounts that I did figure out. And that's part of the reason it drove me to finish this, was the suspension that I just kind of threw together. Again, another find. I found a bunch of axles. And I found, I haven't seen a lot of this stuff in a while, and I haven't really had the space to get into it. So I kind of had an idea for a rear suspension. I wanted to see if it would work. And that's why I ended up building this chassis. So the rear suspension, I wanted to do those long lower arms. But I didn't want to have to build up or down off of the chassis rail itself. I wanted to just go straight to the chassis, but in order to do that, they need to be really long. And I've typically used, I think those are 100 millimeter lengths. And I've luckily my local hobby shop, Shaka Hobbies in White House, Texas, they had those M3 RC four-wheel drive Heim joints. So I was like, all right, well, I'll throw a couple of those on there because they're easy to thread in and it's not a big deal. And then it looked really cool. And then I was like, all right, well, I'll put scale hardware in it. And then I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and use aluminum spacers from my K&K set. And yeah, ended up building the whole rolling chassis. So I'm not set on the body. I started out with this green body. I've had both of these bodies kicking around for a long time. This one is Shapeways print. It's a real nice body, but it's not chopped very much. I had someone that ran across my videos that was actually a designer. And they did CAD work and everything, and he just gave me the file for this body. And I toyed with the idea of selling them, but I don't, I didn't design it, and I don't feel like that's the right thing to do. But I had one printed out, and that's also the same file that we ended up using for this one. But I had someone chop the top more, make a few tweaks here and there on it. And yeah, it was supposed to be sold as a branded Rceveryday body, but that person no longer does 3D printing, so can't get those either. Somewhere I think I have the file for the chopped one too, but yeah, the shape I uploaded to Shapeways, and this print right here I think was like $240 now. They've just gotten outrageous. When I bought this one, I think it was like $140, and that's just a regular textured nylon infused stuff. So anyway, off topic. So built the rat rod. I had these were the original tire and wheel that were on the farm truck. Used to have these, are Boom Racing 1.9s, I believe. These are really heavy wheels. They've got a lot of, the middle section of them is almost cast. It's very, very solid. You can see I painted the inside of them black. So it adds a lot of weight down low, and I like that on road application. It worked great on the farm truck. I just ended up wanting a different, meaner look with it. But we've got 1.7 super wide semi tires on here. And on the back are 1.9 mud somethings, dirt grabbers. Just the plain old RC four-wheel drive things that come on all the Jalopy 2s. And yeah, I just set this body up here. It's actually sitting on the chassis. You can see the rear chassis horns coming out, and those look a lot better now than they did because they were off a little bit. But I basically just got everything all squared up. This motor, if you haven't seen it, I've had it for a long time. Cammy sent me that. This is all die cast. I rusted it up. It came with the 1/8 scale Eagle Moss Jeep Willys kit. And she was turning hers into a rat rod. Didn't want the flathead 4 anymore. She's got a very awesome engine in it. So I was like, yeah, I'll definitely take it. It's a super detailed engine. I'd messed up the exhaust trying to put it on something else. And I was trying to find some kind of cool intake. It just has a 1 barrel. I just threw that RC four-wheel drive breather on there because it was something different. But it's super detailed, very rusty. We've got our distributor, our starter, whole belt system. The fan's bent a little bit from moving, but it's like this just has Jalopy written all over it. It's kind of tall. Looks like it's been channeled over the chassis a little bit, and chopped, but it hasn't been stretched or anything. It's not sectioned. It's still kind of a high boy look. And I went ahead and threw these shocks on the front too. We'll talk about the chassis more here in a minute. But this is 3-window. This has that piece that goes in the top. It does not stay in right now. But this print has a full floor firewall. You see it's got a trans tunnel. This is a very neat file. I've yet to use one of these because usually they're laid out and I don't need a floorboard because it creates all sorts of issues. I've hacked this one a little bit. You can see some places where I've trimmed, but yeah, I don't know body. I don't know about tire wheel. I don't know about anything. We're just rolling with the punches here. So let me pull this off so we can look at this chassis. So this thing, right now we're sitting with no suspension. So that's one of my concerns, how high the body's set already with no suspension. So if we do anything, it's going to have to come up at least, I'd say, 1/4 inch. Up front, because of where I had to mount the suspension arm, that's going to cause us a little bit of a bump steer issue because our caster, I think it's caster, is going to be tilted the wrong way. Usually you want it back just a little bit. Out back, because I had to redo the holes for 7 times here in the middle, my pinion angle's off a little bit, and you can see it stays pretty well solid there. So we can easily adjust that though, because these heim joints are adjustable. We can back these out, throw a little spacer in, and it'll be fine. This cross member will be in the way of our drive shaft, so it will have to go, but that was one of the first ones I put in. That's how I like to build them. Get the cross members in, get everything rigid from front to back, and then you have something solid to build off of. I probably will remove that one, and I need to put one back here. I put a hole up here, just maybe shocks or another cross member. We don't know. We'll just play it by ear when we get there. But this chassis has the right vibe. I just don't know what to do with it yet. I went in and threw these front shocks on. These are RC 4-wheel drive Bilsteins. They're 50 millimeters. These are the smallest 10 scale scale shocks that you can get. They do make the ones off the 1/18 Jalopy 2s, and I have them, but they have a small eyelet. And I think it only fits like a 1.5 or 2 mil hardware. And it's a eye like this, so you can't really drill it out to fit a 3 mil hardware in there. Not really a good way to change all of that, because I need the bottom end to fit the M3 rod that goes through the suspension into the front axle and hold it all into place. And yeah, but I'm in love with this layout here. This is going to be neat. It's not optimum for crawling for flex because short arms, long arms, but it gives us that just old school, I don't give a crap, it's gonna go fast look. I don't know, it's gonna keep it centered, and that's the main thing. There is absolutely no wobble in that at all, and I dig it. Just got to correct the pinion angle. I forgot this was actually a K44 axle. This is a nice one. I didn't even know I had this. It was buried in a box with some other concept ideas that haven't come to fruition. But I don't know. I was playing with different things. I've got my awesome designs, my original tractor grill. Pretty sure that is destined for this truck thing, wagon. That one is still a go. That was what I was supposed to be working on tonight when all this happened. This is the one off the original rat rod, off old number 1. And it's gotten so brittle because this was that model kit. It just won't stay together. The hood and everything, the body's fragile. That windshield frame on that is actually cast aluminum, and it does just, yeah, it's too soft. But I also have this. This is one of the Traxxas hot rod grills, and I was kind of digging it. I cut the mount down that was in here. This is part of their quick release for their body, which is actually a really nice design. Didn't fit with the engine and everything I have, but I don't know. The proportions are just off. I'm in uncharted territory because I do suicide front ends most of the time. Everything's out front, past the grill, got lots of room. So I want that laid back wrecked look of this grill, but I think it's going to have to be outside on the front of the chassis, and I'm not sure how I like that. So got a lot of things to figure out still. Sorry I'm filming all this with the phone. I do have metal embedded in my phone screen now from our grinding exercises tonight, but oh well, it's all fun. But I do have a wireless mic coming. If you've seen the other sound check videos, the phone one sounded best, so that's what I rolled with tonight. My big camera. We'll wait for the wireless mic and give that a try. I think I may have to come back and put even more sound deadening on the ceiling and on some of these bare walls. Try and keep the echo down in here a little bit. The phone was doing better at handling it, so hopefully this sounds pretty good. If not, maybe next time. So yeah, this is not the drop axle. This is the standard. This is just your standard Chinese knockoff Tamiya semi-axle. You can see it just has a slight arc up here, whereas opposed to this one, it has a massive, it's supposed to be a 1 centimeter drop versus the factory axle here. But I figured if we're going under the body, we're not trying to get it raked too much. It already has a pretty good rake to it, even bottomed out, and plus the larger tire in the rear, which is kind of a given with rat rods or hot rods of any kind. Don't really have the same size tire all the way around. As I look up and see 3, 4, 4 that do. But traditional hot rods, you want a little bit bigger tire on the back. And that's why I had this set already made up, because that was a look that we did on that other build. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I am tired. I've been out here working all day. Put the lights up today, installed the alarm system, and did this whole video. So it's been a long day. Had to turn the mood lighting on. Forgot, I haven't had that in so long. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. Hope everybody's excited about this as I am. It's been so long since we built anything like this. Got back to fabricating, and pretty stoked to get back into it again. And I've got this great place to do it. And again, stay tuned. I don't know when or anything yet when this big video of the garage build, the shop build, is coming out. Still haven't quite finished up. I gave myself 30 days to build this shop. I bought it as a hollow shell, got it delivered. And like I said, today's day 27. So I've got a few days to fine tune things, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But until next time, guys, get out there and do something with a hobby. Keep it scale, and I'll see you on the next video.